Ferrari might be hiding a disaster. And tomorrow, the whole world will see it. Because just hours before the Bahrain test, insiders are whispering about rushed upgrades, floor changes, and a concept that may not even work. Lewis Hamilton is heading into his second year in red. Charles Leclerc is out for blood. But here's the terrifying part. If the car fails in the next 48 hours, Ferrari's entire season could collapse before it begins. This is not a drill. And what happens next changes everything. Because this year, the rules are brand new. No carryover. No second chances. Only one shot to get it right. So why are engineers inside Maranello already panicking? Why are some analysts saying Ferrari might be the first big team to crack? And what does this mean for Hamilton's legacy if the car falls apart now? Stay with me, because the answers are not what you think. And they explain why tomorrow might be the most important test in Ferrari's modern history. Subscribe right now, because once testing starts, you won't want to miss what happens next. On paper, Ferrari looks ready. New car, new upgrades, new season, but dig a little deeper, and the cracks start to show. In Barcelona, they ran a safe version of the car, what insiders call the Spec A. No real upgrades, no full push, just systems checks. That was the calm. But Bahrain, that's where the storm hits. Because tomorrow, Ferrari unleashes the real version, the one that's supposed to carry them through the season, with an aggressive floor, revised aero, and a lighter design. Sounds exciting, right? Until you realize they haven't tested any of it under pressure. No race simulations, no long stints, no confirmation the new setup even works. And here's where things get dangerous. If these upgrades don't fit perfectly, if the floor generates the wrong kind of airflow, if the balance shifts mid-corner under heat and fuel load, Ferrari doesn't get a second chance. They'll have to react fast. And in Formula One, reactive development is a death sentence. Because every hour spent fixing a mistake is an hour you're not building performance. And when you only have 6 days of testing, you're already behind. But that's not the real issue. Because this year, Ferrari has 2 drivers who will not tolerate a flawed car. And if both start complaining at the same time, the internal war begins. Lewis Hamilton did not come to Ferrari to rebuild. He came to win. And this is his second season in red, which means the grace period is over. The excuses are gone. And every weakness in the car becomes a direct threat to his legacy. Now pair that with Charles Leclerc, a driver raised in Ferrari's system, who's seen golden chances slip away again and again. Who knows that if this year doesn't deliver, he's not just losing races, he's losing time. So now imagine what happens when both drivers start feeling the same problem, but from opposite sides of a garage. Maybe Lewis struggles with rear-end grip on entry. Maybe Charles finds instability mid-corner under high fuel. Both push, both give feedback, but the car can't be 2 things at once. And the engineers? They're trapped between conflicting data. This isn't just a setup issue, it's a structural problem. Because when your car behaves differently for each driver, you don't fix that overnight. You need laps, correlation, stability. But remember, Ferrari just introduced upgrades they haven't tested in race conditions. So now, they're flying blind. And Bahrain, it's not the track where you want to be guessing. High-speed corners, brutal traction zones, and heat that destroys setups in minutes. Which brings us to the real fear inside Maranello. This car might not have a clear direction. And if that's true, no driver, not even Hamilton, can save them. From the outside, Ferrari's SF26 looks sharp. Clean lines, new floor, upgraded airflow. But here's the trap no one wants to talk about. In this new era of Formula One, a fast car doesn't mean a winning car. Not anymore, because the rules have changed. In 2026, it's not just about lap time. It's about repeatability, consistency, energy management. And this is where Bahrain becomes brutal. Because everything that can go wrong with a new car goes wrong here first. We're talking temperature sensitivity, ERS calibration, thermal management under long stints. And if even one of those systems isn't working properly, the car doesn't degrade smoothly. It collapses. One moment you're holding race pace. The next, you're 3 seconds slower per lap with no grip. And guess what? The drivers won't even know if it's the floor, the new aero maps, or the energy recovery system glitching under load. That's the real nightmare. Because Bahrain isn't just a circuit. It's a filter. It exposes flaws that teams managed to hide in Barcelona. And Ferrari? Ferrari brought upgrades that have never been stress tested under full race sim pressure. They'll only get a few stints to learn everything, and they'll have to make those stints count, while splitting time between two superstar drivers, with two very different driving styles, and two completely different demands on the car. Now ask yourself, what happens if Hamilton and Leclerc both say the same thing? It's not ready, because that's when it stops being a technical issue and becomes a crisis. Inside Ferrari, failure doesn't whisper, it roars, because this team isn't just racing. It's carrying the weight of history, of legends, and of disappointment. Every bad session is a headline. Every mechanical issue becomes a media firestorm. And when you have two world-class drivers, the pressure multiplies. But here's where it gets worse. This isn't just about performance. It's about belief. If the SF26 fails to deliver in Bahrain, it won't just be the car that's questioned. It'll be the leadership, the structure, the project itself. And that's exactly what Ferrari cannot afford. Because when a team starts doubting its own concept, panic takes over. Engineers stop thinking long-term. Strategy becomes reactive. You stop planning upgrades and start patching holes. That's how you lose the season before the first Grand Prix even begins. And there are already signs. Talk of rushed weight-saving changes. Whispers of last-minute floor revisions. Speculation that the rear instability spotted in the sim hasn't been solved. And if those problems show up on track, Ferrari won't get sympathy. They'll get pressure. From fans, from media, from inside. And when that happens, the team starts eating itself alive. Because in Maranello, you don't just lose races. You lose trust. Bahrain is not just a test. It's a deadline. And for Ferrari, it's the final moment to prove one thing. That the SF26 is a platform they can trust. Because in just a few days, factories will lock in the development direction for the opening races. Wind tunnel runs, simulation batches, manufacturing slots. If Ferrari's data in Bahrain is unclear, if the car is inconsistent, if the drivers give conflicting feedback, then the entire system behind them starts drifting. And in modern Formula One, drifting means losing. Because teams like Red Bull, McLaren, and even Mercedes, they don't wait. They build forward aggressively. But Ferrari? They could get stuck solving problems instead of chasing performance. And in a season with fewer test days, that's a death sentence. Because time isn't just tight, it's shrinking. Every update you design now needs weeks to reach the car. So if you get the concept wrong in Bahrain, you're stuck with it through the first 3 or 4 races. And those races, they set the tone. Sponsors start asking questions. Media starts looking for scapegoats. And inside the team, that's when trust begins to crack. And the worst part, you can't rebuild momentum in Formula One overnight. Because once you're behind, you're not chasing lap time. You're chasing belief. There's something different about Ferrari this year. And not in a good way. You can feel it in the interviews, in the body language, in the silence. No bold predictions. No confident statements. No clear leadership voice cutting through the noise. Just cautious optimism and vague promises of learning. That's not Ferrari. That's fear. And fear is dangerous because fear leads to hesitation. And hesitation kills seasons. You can see it already. Upgrades push late. No real push laps in Barcelona. Split priorities between testing and media control. This doesn't look like a team preparing to dominate. It looks like a team buying time. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. When a Formula One team starts playing defense before the first race, it means they've already lost control. The engineers won't say it. The drivers can't say it. But look closer. Hamilton's tone, carefully managed. Leclerc's answers, shorter than usual. Even the team principal, talking more about understanding than winning. That's not strategy. That's survival mode. And that's exactly where Ferrari cannot afford to be. Because when teams like McLaren and Mercedes are attacking every lap, Ferrari is still calibrating, still validating, still hoping this car behaves the way the data said it would. But hope is not a plan. And in a season where everything resets, the teams that hesitate get buried.